Welcome to My Therapist is Out. Each episode, we talk with a therapist from Open Space Therapy Collective or LGBT community members about mental health and building community. I'm your host, Renae Johnson, licensed therapist and founder of Open Space Therapy Collective, where we are your hub for queer and trans mental health care.
As we dive into today's topic, please keep in mind that this is a mental health podcast. We will talk about sensitive and difficult issues that are not appropriate for all audiences. Please take care while listening.
Welcome back to My Therapist is Out. During the holidays, we're going to do something a little different and have little mini-sodes with our therapist. So today we have our therapist, Terra Friedman, with us. Good to see you.
Hello, good to see you.
How are you feeling about the holidays?
I'm feeling pretty good. I kind of love, I get multiple holiday seasons with my background and identities, and it's really cool and fun, and I love to slow down and enjoy and do as many crafts as I can.
That's awesome. So we're going to do a couple of these, and I think we have four. I think we've got four of our therapists that are going to do them. And we're just going to go through, everybody's got a different tip and strategy and ways to reflect. Can you say, for people who don't know you, can you say what all of your holiday traditions and intersectionalities are?
Yeah, so this is one of my holiday seasons. I'm Jewish, so I also have a high holiday season, which happens at a different time of the year. And then I have the winter holiday season of Thanksgiving, which is a little bit different and special in my family. We celebrate kind of our family's anniversary. This is around the time when my parents solidified their love. And so it's really sweet. So it has kind of a unique meaning for our family. And then I have, New Year's with everyone, and a little bit of Christmas, a little bit of Hanukkah happening, and as much light as we can bring in all the different ways.
Nice. That's awesome. You told me at some point that your parents got married over the Thanksgiving holiday. And that's been a nice bright spot as it's come on, because I get really complicated feelings around this time of year, and and the theme of not celebrating genocide, I tend to duck out for Thanksgiving. So it's nice to think about your parents and their sweet
their love story.
Yeah. Cool. So let's dive in. What's a common challenge for queer folks during the holidays?
So I think some of the challenges that I hear coming up for people and that can come up in the queer community, in particular, this is very timely. There's a stereotype of families loving to debate politics, and when you get the whole family together, or some portion of the family together, those debates can get bigger, longer, louder, more personal. And so queer people can find themselves like the bodies that are being debated, the actual people who will be impacted by the things and questions, and devil's advocate, because it's just for fun. And that really impacts, it hits different when it's about your identity or your experience than people who might have more distance.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that comes up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, is because I also think the family members who are debating that don't take into consideration that it's the person that they're talking to, a family member they're talking to, it's their lived experience, it's their body, it's their being that's so deeply impacted.
Right. It's not a for fun debate for somebody who's experience and identity are being called into question.
Yeah. I mean, especially right now as we're continuing to hear about all of the people being nominated for these cabinet positions and ways to get around the appropriate channels to have them let in or not. And it's, I feel like this holiday season especially is going to be more tense.
Yeah. And in that way, LGBTQ people are also often the way marginalized identities tend to be called to be the if you're the one queer person in your family, called to be like the representative for the entire community. Like, hey, oh, well, can you speak to the, it's like, I'm really just trying to eat some mashed potatoes and like relax a little bit or like connect. So there can be a lot of pressure uniquely on people from marginalized identities on queer people during gathering time.
Yeah. So what is a practical mental health tip as people are trying to navigate the political debates and not being a monolith for the queer community?
I think this is where boundaries come into play.
Yay.
And maybe this is something you get to consider. I always like this metaphor of like practice versus game day. You can set your boundary. You can practice setting your boundaries in the mirror with your friends on paper so that you know what it's going to feel like to set it. And you can set the boundary like 2 weeks before the gathering. You can let people know, I'm really excited to see you. I'm not really interested in talking about XYZ topic. And I'm really excited to see you and talk about this thing. I just want to let you know that if that does come up, I'll probably leave the room or I might need to head out. It's not personal. It's just like the way I'm going to take care of myself this year. Because people might have feelings. They might not like that. And if you give them a little bit of time to deal with their own stuff before you see them, they may be in a place where they can say like, oh yeah, they told us 2 weeks ago that they're going to have to do that. So, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love that like preemptive, I'm going to like shoot the text or the email or however your family chats in a nonchalant way of being like, yeah, man, I'm not talking about politics. Love you, mean it. No. And the fact that you're giving something else for them to talk about instead. Like one of the quintessential things that I think when we're talking about changes is if we are going to take something away, whether it's from a relationship or ourselves, we need to replace it with something. We can't just leave a void because then the family member's like, oh, I'm not going to talk about this, but now I don't know what to talk about. Which then creates a whole nother level of tension. So to avoid that being like, but I'm happy to talk about football or snow or whatever TV show.
Real gentle redirect. Like, but I'm so excited to hear about the new garden that you're planting and the recipe that you tried and how's your whatever. Yeah.
Great.
I also think it's important when do we have time for this? Okay. I think it's important when you're talking about boundaries and what you will and won't do, not like to pay attention to language, that you're saying, I won't. Like you are guiding the language rather than I can't. Because somebody can say like, well, why can't you stay? Why can't you stay longer? I want you to. I won't be staying longer.
Yeah.
Can help you not have to face so much pushback.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great thing to call out is like, I want to do this and I won't do this. Is really holding that boundary where like the can or can't feels like there's an external thing that can be navigated. Cool. Yeah. As we're all seeking relaxation, hopefully, and some like moments of joy and like comfort and at least one good meal, I hope. What is a way for somebody to find joy in like queer affirmation?
The first thing that comes to mind is community, and that can look really different for everybody. So if you're in a place where you have a lot of queer humans around you that you can go be in community with, great. If you find yourself in traveling or in a space away from home, away from your queer community, or in a place where you can't really access tons of in-person queer community, using virtual get-togethers, like we've all kind of through COVID learned how to stay connected, for better or worse, right? Virtually. You can use that. You can FaceTime, you can check in, engage with like positive queer content, take the parts of the holidays season that work for you and that you like. Maybe you really like the movies, or you really like the crafts, or you really like the whatever it is, and queerify it. Find the queer. Maybe you're listening to a queer artist play holiday music.
Cool. I love that. Nice and like simple tweaks. That's great.
Yeah, it's usually, this is not the time of year really to be inventing the wheel.
No.
Use what you've got, because you've got stuff. You've got skills, you've got resources.
Yeah. This is, thank you for like highlighting that. Like, this isn't time to use new tools or new tricks or try and start new traditions or set new dynamics. This is like, okay, what is working? What have I practiced, and how can I implement that? Or how can I lean back on things that I know work for me? Cool. What's a resource or a mental health check-in that somebody can use as they're going through the holiday?
That's a really good question. A resource or a mental health check-in. Some people will set up, I know this has worked for some of my clients, to set up beforehand with a friend or a family member or even a therapist, a check-in protocol. What does that look like? Is it like at the end of the day, you check in with your pal and say something that you're feeling grateful for, something that you're struggling with, and kind of have like a tandem structure built up so that at the very least, you know, you have like a touch point. Again, I'm talking about like building something new. We're talking about reaching out for what you've got.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Like little, almost kind of mini postmortems throughout the time away.
Yeah, debrief is priceless.
Totally. What's something that you're going to do to help prioritize your mental health?
I'm going to slow down. I tend, when I'm excited for stuff, I tend to get a little bit time blind around how much can fit into a day or a week or a month. And I want to do it all. And then I end up feeling too tired to enjoy it all. So I'm going to slow down as much as I can.
Thanks. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for our quick little mini-sode to talk about stuff that's going to come up and ways to navigate that. Typically, we end with talking about a queer joy moment or a queer community connection moment, but we're going to switch it up for this coming year. We've had a few really fun events. We had a Queerly Connected event that we hosted as Open Space Therapy Collective in September, and then we participated in National Coming Out Day at the Black Hat with Baby Gay, and during that we had different people tell us their queer joy moments. So we are going to start tagging those at the end of this. So Terrace, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a lovely holiday season. And here is your queer moment of joy.
I'm Antone Martinez. I work at Folklore Salon and Barber in Cypress Park. I am a nail artist and a nail tech there. The first thing that comes to mind of queer joy is when I was younger, my Auntie Matisse, she used to sit me down and she used to turn this Katie Lang song on, Miss Chatelaine. I mean, I have it tattooed, and she used to sit me down and she used to just like lip sync and dance and like tickle me and flirt with me. And I think at that point I was like, oh my God, I want to be her. She's like the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. And I think for like as far back as I could go, I think that's a memory. I was like, whoa, this is like queer. And that's my first like moment with like my earliest moment with meeting what queer identity means and queer joy means, is that she gave it to me. She's a very like Republican Trump supporting person now, and our relationship is still intact. So I take a lot of pride in loving her still, even though we're very different. She didn't know how queerly influential she was to me.
Thanks for joining us. If you're in California and looking for a therapist, visit our website at openspacetherapycollective.com and book a free intro call with one of our therapists. If you're enjoying My Therapist Is Out, please rate, review, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.